How are you guys? Pete Renzullo here. Welcome to the very first Scudley Showcase, which is basically a showcase of some of the shows on Scudley Radio, the platform I started about 6 months ago. In fact, it started about 10 years ago with my show Close to Nowhere on the Recharge Radio UK platform. And I've since launched it on my own, and I've got a heap of different presenters doing their own shows. So I thought this would be a cool way just to get a few little snippets of their shows that happen during the month and just give it a bit of a roundup, a bit of a showcase of what they've done in that month. So you'll be getting little snippets from different artists, different presenters giving their interviews, and maybe a little animation here and there, as you will see. We're going to start off though with a little segment from my show called D. It's actually a radio play I've created. I created it back in 2012, just as an audio radio play, but I've since made it into animation. And it just revolves around the world of D, who is my fictional receptionist here at Scudley Records, and just the calls that she fields from potential clients coming in to record. And a lot of the time it doesn't go too well. So I'll give you the example of that right now. So here's one of the episodes of D. Hello, Scudley Records, this is Dee speaking.
Oh yeah, hi, I just got my recording back from your producer.
Oh, yes, okay, very good.
Well, nah, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's too quiet.
Oh.
Yeah, I just played Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, and then I played my track, and it's way quieter. This is not good enough.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Do you know if the track's been mastered yet?
What do you mean, mastered?
So did the song have the title with unmastered at the end of it?
Unmastered? So you mean you made it quieter on purpose?
No, sir, sorry. Unmastered
Why
means...
would you make it quieter on purpose? I want it nice and loud like a normal song.
No, sir, sorry, please, I'll explain. You see, mastering is when you...
Hey?
Well, it's hard to explain, but basically, your recording engineer, the one who recorded you, they record the song, and then they give it to a mastering engineer, a different person, and they make the song...
Why can't the recording guy do it?
See, he would provide you with the track that's been recorded, and then you get it mastered.
He didn't mention anything about mastering.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Yeah, basically what happens, you come in and you record your song, and the engineer provides you with an unmastered version. Usually, it's $150 per song to be mastered professionally.
Nah, hang on. Your ad said $300, gives you no time limit, all the song recorded from beginning to end.
Well,
so it should include the mastering. What's this $150 extra?
No, sir. The recording is separate to mastering.
Nah.
It's a choice you can make if you'd like to get it mastered.
You're telling me that this song isn't finished?
It's finished, but it's just not mastered yet.
Look, this is stupid. All I want is the song to be louder. It's not harder to turn it up, is it? I mean, come on.
Oh, well, it's a bit more involved than just turning it up, you see. You have to...
Get it. I want my money back.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sure we can come to an agreement, sir.
Well, yeah? Well, I'm going to go to Consumer Affairs. This is nonsense.
No, sir, that's not necessary. This obviously was a mix-up in the communication. I tell you what, we'll provide the mastering free, just for this once off, because obviously it was not communicated to you. But moving forward, when you get a song recorded, the price only includes the recording, not the mastering.
Oh, so you're saying I should be grateful that you're giving me the free mastering? You should have included it in the first place.
Look, it's very simple. The recording engineer records your song, mixes it, and then sends you what we call an unmastered version.
Nah.
And then you can get it sent to a mastering engineer, and they take the track, a quiet track, and they make it sound bigger, and they sound louder and fuller. It doesn't just make the volume louder,
Look,
it makes everything...
all I want is to have the song louder. It's not that
Sir,
hard, is it?
if you just listen to me, I'm trying to explain...
Hey, calm down. I'm just trying to tell you my problem with my recording experience.
No, but...
Frankly, you've been very unhelpful, and I'm going to call Consumer Affairs. This is a scam. Goodbye.
Oh! Such a fucking moron! Of course, the biggest feature on Close to Nowhere is the music made right here in Perth, Western Australia, from artists from all different walks of life, different genres, and here's an example of one of them. It's a guy called Robert Hinton, and his song, Boat in a Bottle.
Made my way out onto the water, just far enough to feel unnerved. I make a ripple with my hands, a realization that the sea has the power to swallow me, or safely return me to the land. But I know I mustn't shoulder fear. Push it down until it disappears. When the skies get stormy and the seas get rough, it will take some skill to navigate this. But I know I mustn't show the fear. Push it down until it disappears. When the skies get stormy and the seas get rough, it will take some skill to navigate this. But I know I mustn't show the fear. Push it down until it disappears. When the skies get stormy and the seas get rough, it will take some skill to navigate this. Truth is not allowed, will. You can sail your boat on stormy seas or keep it in a bottle.
Now, next up in the showcase is Neighbour of the Beast. Here's a little intro to it. Yes, and of course, Metal Ed is Kelvin Edward Whitwell, and the show is produced by Ryan Pierce as well through Savage Studios. Now, this is one of the artists that are on the show called Icarus Lives, and this is their song, Collision of Counterparts. Moving right along to the next show on the Scudley Radio platform, Stax Radio, hosted by Jai Deeg. Now this one here is a mixture of interviews, music, and comedy as well. One of the things Jai likes to do is put these little mock telephone calls together with famous artists or famous, personalities from around the world. Here's a little example of that right now.
Yeah, Gav, you actually ever going to get sorted with this phone thing going on, mate, or what? Yeah, but... Hello?
It's the Emperor.
Who?
The Emperor. Come join the dark side.
Join the what?
I feel the anger within you.
I'm pretty cool, dude, but are you that guy that looks like two butt cheeks being squeezed together for a forehead?
Unless you want a fistful of midichlorians shoved up your ass. And let free, I suggest you treat me with more respect. Now, the reason I am ringing in is because I heard that there is a benefit concert for Patrick the Llama.
Oh, really? Not you two. Don't tell what. Who have you been talking? Emperor, what have you been talking to Jesse Ventura or Ozzy Osbourne or even Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, how do you know about this? And mate, you're the Emperor of the Galaxy. I mean, the ruler of the dark side, the Sith Lord. Why would you even bother wanting to get on the bill for this benefit concert for Patrick the Llama?
I don't even have a band. I am a stand-up comedian and I want to get a break.
So the Sith Lord of the Galaxy is a stand-up comic. All right then, Emperor, mate. Give us a joke.
Why did Luke Skywalker cross the road?
I don't know, mate.
To get to the dark side.
Oh, God. Emperor, I hope you got better than that, mate.
Oh, yes, I have much more. Why did Chewbacca get arrested? Because he was the founder of WikiLeaks.
Oh, my God, that is terrible. Please don't tell me anymore, but I know you're going to for some reason.
Yes, I am going to tell more. How do the Jedi open a PDF? Adobe One Kenobi.
Oh, God.
Come on, join the dark side.
No, mate, didn't you, die, years ago? And, I thought you were dead. Your jokes are definitely dead. Mate, come on. Seriously, you want to actually
Yes.
be a comedian
Yes.
at this concert or festival benefit thing for Patrick the Llama?
Yes, I do. Yes, I want to be the MC and drop my bangers. Like this one, for example. An Ewok strolls into a bar and says to the bartender, I'll have a whiskey and soda. And the bartender says, sure thing, but why the little pause? Don't know, said the Ewok. I've had them all my life.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right, look, just give us one more and then we're going to have to end this conversation. I don't want to put any of my 3 listeners through this anymore. They don't deserve to go through this. They really don't.
Yes. Well, I'll finish with my absolute clincher. Okay, why is Yoda such a good gardener? Because he has a green thumb. Come on, join the dark side. Feel your anger and cross over, and together we can rule the galaxy.
So there you go, Jai Deeg doing what he does best there. Next up we have Highly Tuned with Laura Mack. Now, this show is another interview-based show, but it's not just from music. It's from visual artists, from theatre, from film, anything creative. She gets them in and discusses their life. In this one here, she deals with an artist called Vince Austin, who's done stuff from set building in The Lord of the Rings right through to music, and of course currently now doing sculpturing. So it's really cool stuff. Here's a little segment of their interview.
So I remember quite a number of years ago, Vince, seeing your steampunk style shark down in Fremantle at Little Creatures. What ever happened to that?
Fluffy, aka, yes, how can you have a shark by any other name? Fluffy, aka the other foot, hung from the roof of Little Creatures in Fremantle for about 18 months or so, and was recently purchased by a chap from Anchorage, Alaska, who when I got the email, I thought, yeah, right, okay, yeah, I'll ship it to Alaska, no problem. But then when he forwarded the deposit, I thought, okay, he's serious. I'm going to have to do this. So it was a bit of a whiz-bang operation. You know, within a week, I received the deposit, organised the cherry picker. Well, actually, Little Creatures organised the cherry picker. A couple of men, a dear friend of mine, Rupert John, another talented musician. And between all of us, we managed to get it out of the atrium of Little Creatures and load it up, bring it back in.
Did you have to disassemble everything of it, or no, you didn't take anything apart?
No. The item is one piece. It's about 4 meters long, and it has to ship as a 4 meter long white pointer. So it was lowered from the ceiling, put on a trailer, brought back here. I spent $1,000 at Bunnings on wood. Built a 4 meter by 1.6 meter square box. Got a chap with a high ab to come in and lift it up and take it away, all within a week. So within the week, it was on its way to Anchorage, Alaska, and I got a note an email from its new owner saying that it's arrived safe and sound. So with a bit of luck, I'll get a few photos.
And have you seen where it is actually on display, or is it this in someone's a venue or someone's?
It's a personal house, a personal residence, yeah.
Wow. So it'd be interesting to see.
Well, the view from his veranda is pretty striking, and I'm sure when it's mounted in the atrium section of his foyer, it'll be equally as impressive. I'm just rapt that somebody wanted to export one of my sculptures to Alaska, you know.
Yes, of course. Yes. And so you should be. And while we're on the subject of huge pieces of art that you have done and worked on, the Dalek has got to be the impressive. Yeah. And you did say that you hired. Do you hire that art for use for exhibitions or?
I have in the past, yeah. Jemima the Dalek is. I know. I did actually originally call her Samantha, but I thought, well, I actually know somebody called Samantha, so Jemima. So yeah, she's over 2 meters tall. She's made mostly from plywood and steel, and runs on the remains of a gopher or the little people mover, and it does about 6 to 8 kilometers an hour flat out downhill with me inside it, which can be a little bit hairy in places because the braking system isn't that efficient. But yes, she's done a couple of gigs, the Darlington Arts Festival a couple of years, and she's been down to the Leederville Street markets when they were in operation, and she's definitely a showstopper.
Oh yeah.
And at events, quite the Pied Piper. You know, you find all these kids sort of trailing behind her. And
yes, you would do.
Yeah.
So, do you get commissioned, Vince, to actually do your artwork or sculptures by people, or you just go with your own flow, do your own thing, and just let it roll from there?
Yeah, occasionally I do get commissions. People go, "Hey, can you make us, do I do a bit of painting as well. It's not my first forte. I've done portraits in the past, and people have commissioned sculptural works off me in the past as well. And generally speaking, when I do that, whatever revenue I generate buys my life back and gives me the opportunity to indulge my own creative works, which also sometimes sell. You know, it's very much hand to mouth, feast of famine in the art game. I'm sure you understand.
Absolutely.
So, moving right along, this next one is called The Bedroom Sessions. It's only a brand new segment, so I've got an example of that with one of the songs I've produced. What it is basically is getting artists to film themselves in their room, in their lounge room, just them and the camera, no cuts, no edits, just raw recordings. And the idea behind this is just to get, I suppose, the essence of the song without too much production value. So just a recording of them and their instrument, and that's it. Here's the first segment. It's actually one of my songs here. It's called Gravity. Now, next up we have a show called Candid. Now, in this show, we actually focus on the artists themselves, not their work. We discuss their early childhood right through to their adult life. I mean, inspirations and what got them into the art they do, but it really gets into their life story more than the actual work. So it's a candid interview with them. Here's an example of one of them with Jeremy Harry Harris.
So I went out. As I went out, it just went horribly wrong.
So it didn't snap?
So the chute was pulled, but I managed to get all the ropes. I must have come up really bad. So when you go out, you get hit by all the slipstream, obviously, and it buffets you around a bit. But 9 times out of 10, that's not a big deal. You know, if you go out properly, you just you punch through it, it whips you around, and next thing you know, you count to 3, you look up, and there's parachute.
Yeah.
Well, I looked up and went, oh dear.
God.
Actually, I didn't, but we are on radio, so.
I feel free, mate. It's all right.
So,
Internet radio.
Yeah, so I kind of went, oh, geez, this is not looking good.
So just this string flapping around almost. It wasn't actually deployed.
So yeah, they call it a candle. Because if you ever look at the flame of a candle, that's being if you ever bit of wind on it, it flickers around.
It was just that above you,
and that's what it was pretty much. It was just flicking around, and I thought, oh geez, this is not good. So the first thought that goes through your mind after wondering whether you got to change your pants when you land is do I deploy a reserve chute? Yeah. Or do I try and work this out? And I guess that's what the training does kick in, because you spend hours and days and weeks, in these practice scenarios where this stuff happens. So it gets to a point where you just do it. You still think about it, but it's a secondary emotion. Yeah,
muscle memory.
Very much so. And so choices were, all right, well, I can deploy the reserve, and that should get me going. And I'll come down a lot quicker because the reserve's a smaller chute, but at least I'm down. Or I can try and get some air into this chute and try and basically turn it into a proper parachute. And I made the decision not to deploy my reserve, because the chances are that once you deploy a reserve, there's a really good chance that reserve is going to get tangled up in the main chute.
Because it's above it anyway.
And then you just, that's the end of it. Yeah. And you don't have enough height to be able to cut away and free fall.
Just 8 seconds away from the ground.
Because it's 330 metres.
Yeah.
So I went, well, bugger it. The most I can do is actually start to climb up this, we call them risers, which are basically these big straps that hold the parachute up, above you. Jeez. Climb up them and give them a bit of a shake.
Oh my God.
So I was out there kicking and shaking, and I did manage to get some air into it, which was great, but not a lot. And talking with some people, many months later, the fact I managed to get some air into it, they reckon saved my life, because I came down very, very hard. But there was some slowdown on that journey downwards, and we were doing it. It was actually a practice jump as well, so it wasn't even a proper jump. And I'm fortunate because I didn't have any of my pack or anything like that to add extra weight. And I was a big lad back then. Yep. You were buffed up and do lots of weights and all that kind of stuff. So I was a heavy boy anyway. And I came in, and as I came in, I hit a fence. I hit a barbed wire fence.
Oh my God!
Because where I'd gone out at, if your chute was right, you would have been able to steer and you would have been able to move it around and be able to do what you needed to do to land in the drop zone. But of course, mine wasn't. So it was just wherever I went out is where I went out, and I was coming down pretty much where I went out.
So you came down on top of it, or you sort of swept past on it?
No, so I pretty much, I looked down and went, oh, there's a fence, and my first thought was, this is really going to hurt. But it was a barbed wire fence, and
Jesus.
I hit this fence. And like my feet came down on top of the fence, and the force that I was travelling at was enough to kind of break some of the fence posts.
Oh my God!
So they came swinging in and kind of wrapped around my legs.
It's insane.
And that piled me over face first into the only bloody rock that was the only bloody rock that was in the entire field as far as I was concerned, and it had a point on it that was basically big enough to go under my helmet and smash me dead in the face.
How the hell is that? Oh my God.
So last up on the Scudley Radio platform is the Ghost Track Challenge, headed by Miss Divine, an amazing artist who I actually came across when I was doing Close to Nowhere back at Recharge Radio. And she was doing a song a day, 400 days challenge. So incredible feat.
and she's come along on board with this new segment, and it's essentially her making the bones of a song. And she invites artists to come on board and essentially finish it. So add new chords, rearrange it completely, add vocals, and then of course upload it. And usually accompanied with a video is an awesome way to go. So she's been putting about 4 or 5 of these together already. Here's one with one of the winners already, Lupium, and the video he created to go along with the song that they've collaborated on. So hope you enjoy this.
Stop
So there you go, a bit of a snippet of what happens here at Scudley Radio. There is other stuff going on the website as well, but it's not all visual, so there are some things like the interviews, which is a text-based and I suppose link-based platform. But yeah, do go check it out, scudleyrecords.com, and then if you go to the Scudley Radio tab, you'll see all the shows listed there. Go have a look, there's heaps of content, and there'll be more every week. So I'll see you next time for another showcase. For now, thank you and goodbye.